Having movement within all of your videos helps make them more interesting. Content creators are constantly trying to come up with new and inventive ways to create that new perspective, or just add a little bit of zeal and zest and flavor to all of their videos by having a little bit of movement. That's where camera sliders come into play. Camera sliders have been around since the invention of video, and especially during Hollywood productions. But not all camera sliders are created equal. Now, I've been waiting for this one for a long time. This is the GVM 80. This is a 31-inch Bluetooth slider. Now, I have a 31-inch GVM slider that I bought with my own money a couple of years ago, and it has this clunky remote control, and it's very cumbersome to have to walk around, and you've got the cord hanging from it, and you're trying to control that. I was wondering when they were actually going to release one that had a Bluetooth capability, so you can take your phone with you, because your phone is more than capable of handling most of your tech devices nowadays. I can have my phone operating my Insta360 camera. I can have my phone operating my Bluetooth now. I have my phone operating all of the lights in my studio. So having a phone keeps you from having to carry a lot of other equipment around. So this time I was excited that GVM reached out to me. That means the channel's growing. I'm getting a little bit more attention. And I have a brand new 31-inch Bluetooth slider here, and it is awesome.
GVM did not persuade or influence me to say anything about this slider, so I'm only going to give you my true and honest opinion about this, and
here we go. I have used this one more times in the past couple of days than I have the total 2 years that I had my other one, because it was such a pain in the butt to try to manipulate around and worry about the remote control and all the extra little cables that go along with it. So let's go ahead and see what's in this thing. Okay, starting out, you've got your pamphlet. Men love pamphlets. Now, it comes with all of these cords. These cords are, I think there's 6 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep. These cords are used to operate your individual camera when you're doing time lapse or time warp or anything with your slider. To activate the shutter with this connects directly to the slider itself. Even though I don't need all of them, I can operate pretty much any camera on the market with all 6 of these. So you have options there. Now, it also comes with a standard battery charger. I have the battery charging at the moment, so I can actually do a demonstration of this slider for you, but very simple to use, standard battery charger. They gave you a ball head mount to go on the top of your slider, and as it goes back and forth, you can manipulate your camera. It's very heavy duty, sturdy. I'll talk about why I won't always be using this one. There's nothing wrong with this one, but there are better options out there. Comes with a standard cable extender for all of the remote control cables, and I think that's about it, other than a power adapter that we do not use in the United States. I'm going to take this off of here, and I can already tell you these things are kind of a pain in the butt to try to get out of here usually, but there we go. And there's your camera slider. Now, first off, you have your power, which is on the end here, and I've already put the battery on here for you, but it's very simple to take on and off. It's a typical battery branded by GVM. It's a standard Sony 770 battery, NPF. If you've got video equipment, then you probably have these laying around. You have a carbon fiber sled on this thing, which decreases the weight of this, so it's a lot easier to manipulate. It's a lot easier to move around. It's a lot sturdier. It just feels more quality and pristine, and I don't have any flex on any of these bars, so I'm really excited to get this thing out there and use it more and more. It's got adjustable feet here, so you can adjust the height of it, and it's very simple to turn on. Look like little plastic balls. They're not little rubber feet, which can probably slide in a certain situation, so I wouldn't want it moving, especially if you're doing a time lapse. So I would maybe either scuff up the bottom of them, or maybe, since they're quarter thread, you could probably find some rubberized feet or something to make sure that this thing doesn't slide when you have it on a slippery surface. Now, obviously, this thing is going to be app controlled. It's got a UPC code on the end of it that will allow you to scan it with your phone, download the app, and it's very intuitive, very simple to use. You would think that You know, all sliders should be very easy, but the old remote control that came with the other 31-inch slider from GVM that I had, when most of them do, not only was the remote control cheap, but it was so difficult to use because right out of the box, if you don't know anything about it, then you have a lot of things to actually factor in, and they've simplified all of that and made it a little bit more proficient by just using slider bars and, you know, simple arrows left and right, and it made life so much easier. It had a simple start and stop feature on it, so you can do an automatic feature, so you could go from left to right, right to left, stopping wherever you want. So if you move too fast with the slider left and right as you're doing a time lapse, it's gonna come out looking like crap. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my camera and mount it to this fluid head that I have from Avella. Now these are very cheap. I think I paid like 40 bucks for this, and I like this better because it has an adjustable arm on it. So once you put this on your tripod or your slider, then you have the ability to manipulate the camera up and down in a lot more fluid manner than you would with the ball head mount that came with it. As you're moving back and forth with it, you can adjust all of the levels of the camera. So you can keep the traction bars centered and then just manipulate the camera however you need to as it's going back and forth, because it does have a good amount of strength to it, so you're not going to notice any wobble, especially if you have image stabilization on your camera, then it won't even be a factor for you. I set up a few examples for you to see the benefits of using a slider if they are new to you. There's a myriad of reasons to actually use a slider when you're making your videos, and that's just to create that interest and something that's not distracting to your viewers, that also allows you to have that movement. So they really don't think about the subtle movement when you're watching a movie. So next time you are watching a movie, make sure that you're watching some of the camera movements, and because I can't help but do it now that I've done this for so long now, that when I'm watching a movie I even see the subtle movements of the camera, and it creates that dynamic movement that makes it just gives you that little one-up on everybody else. Before we do our closing statements and show you some examples of how the slider is used, I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that like button. It does help the channel out a lot. I've been trying so hard and working so hard at making the channel grow, and it's been growing very quickly and we're getting a lot of attention, but it's all up to you whether or not I grow any faster than I already am, and I would greatly appreciate it. So please don't forget to hit that like button if you're interested in this, and try to watch all the way through, because that watch time is money. So with that being said, let's show some examples. So what do I think about this slider? This is just what the doctor ordered. I needed this slider, and it makes life so much easier for me to actually take it outside and use it properly. Now there is one accessory that I highly suggest you get if you're an owner of a slider, and that's these support arms for any tripod. You can just clamp them on there and make sure that it doesn't wobble left and right. And I will link everything that you've seen in this video down below, so make sure you use my affiliate links if you purchase any of these items. What would I like to see different with it? That on the battery itself, on the battery case or the motor case down at the end, they could have a small compartment to put a couple of the tools that are used to adjust the slider itself to tighten things up. So when you're out in the field, you don't have to worry about not having the appropriate tools to tighten everything up. But if you're in your studio, you do not have to use the battery that goes along with this. You can actually plug it in with a 12-volt adapter. So if you have one laying around, which a lot of people do nowadays because everything's electric, boogie woogie woogie, I had to do it, So you can plug it in and use this thing all day long. Now that I have this slider in my inventory, it stays. This isn't one that I am going to be selling. This is not one that I'm not going to use. That is going to sit in a closet or in a trunk somewhere. I'm actually going to use this a lot. So you're gonna get to see a lot more movement in all of my videos, and I'm gonna be even using them for some weddings that I've got coming up. So really excited about using this because it's so much easier to use and so much more proficient. So again, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.